Welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. Welcome everyone. So we have Marci, Pat, Lisa, and Paula, and yours truly right here. So how is everyone? You just jump in there, Lisa. How are things going? The rated G version.
I'm a little frustrated right now.
I think I know why. So
I just got done talking to the processor, and it's like they're just taking their own sweet time. It's going to be another week.
They sometimes do this, but at least it's moving forward. So I'm going to look at the positive on this. So, all right. How about you, Paula? How are things going? Oh, you're muted. No sound right now. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes then. All right. Welcome, Jessica. Hello. Oh, you're muted.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. Welcome to Shea Spiritual Insights. Glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So I guess I'm going to start with just asking, we'll go around and ask for updates on what's happening. And Lisa kind of already shared, but you can go ahead and share, other things that are happening as well.
Oh, me?
Well, Lisa, let's start with Lisa. She's
Oh,
in my
okay.
upper left-hand corner. I'm sorry. Yes.
I can't see anybody else. Oh, there
All
she
right.
is.
Oh.
Hi.
Hey, Jess. Well, my life has just been on hold, and there's not a lot else to talk about.
Okay.
So the energy's been I'd say the energy's been pretty challenging.
That's true. And we're having the energies are still coming in, and they're a bit, I'll say, turbulent right now. And I think that's just because of everything that's happening in society and people, the masses, say reacting to that, responding to it. The energies, I don't know about coming in, have been really intense. Very high frequency energies coming in, which are wonderful, but they precipitate, as we've talked about in the past. It brings up, it can tend to have us let go of our emotional baggage ballast. It helps, gets that to come up, and we can experience it as it's being released. So that's the downside of it. The good side is it's being released, so that's a positive. Well, thank you, Lisa. We can talk more probably offline. I think some things are going to be coming up for you on that, though. I think it's going to break free a little bit, but it seems to be so incremental for you, and I don't know why. So, Paula, do you have anything to share? Is your microphone working yet? Oh my goodness, no. You're still muted. I don't know what happened. That's all right.
Maybe come back in, Paula. Try
Yeah,
it.
maybe leave and come back in. That's a good idea.
And Jess, you might want to mute yourself.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Thank you. All right. Well, let's go. Welcome, Emilie. Let's go to you next, Emilie, and then we're going to go to Jessica after that. Do you have anything to share? Any thoughts? Just what's happening in your life, in your spiritual trek? You can go ahead and unmute, Emilie. Okay. Go ahead and try to unmute again. See if you can, Emilie, and see if how that works.
Okay, I did it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, welcome. We saw your email. Thank you so much it was a wonderful email we received from you. So how is sunny California?
Well, it's sunny. It's sunny. It's wonderful. But I just got back from Montana, so my spirit is still somewhere over there, feeling that wonderful energy from the Mystic Mountain.
Well, that's an interesting way of thinking of it. I certainly love the mountains. They bring in they really are embodiments of spiritual energy. I just adore mountains. They're wonderful. I was lost when I was in Florida once. I was there for a school, and for 2 months, I just missed the mountains. I didn't know what to do with myself. So you have anything to share? Anything else?
Well, I love the Mystic Mountain. I find it very challenging. So I prefer sea level. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
I prefer sea level, but yet the spirituality and all the wisdom seems to come every time I go up the Mystic Mountain or come back down the Mystic Mountain.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing. Jessica, do you have anything to share? Any questions to ask? Anything at all?
Well, I've had a bunch of stuff come up. It's like distractions, like my identity got stolen and my dental office charged me like $1,600 more than they said they were going to. I had my knee I had a problem with. Now I have a problem with my left arm. My lawnmower broke twice.
Wow.
It's one thing after the other. Any insights on what that might be?
I'm seeing that a lot, believe it or not, lately, and we've had that ourselves. And I can share why that happens. It has to do with transitions, and for those of us that have been with part of this group for a while, we've all seen it. It's happening in our lives, and what it is, it's the old being released and the new coming in, and our low self kind of doesn't sometimes respond well to the higher incoming energies, and disruptions can happen. And all we can do is bless them. We had our furnace go, and then had to replace that. Then the lawnmower had kind of a similar thing. The mower deck had to be replaced. And then our oven decided to go and depart us and move on to oven heaven. And so it's been one thing after another. So what I'm saying is that it has to do with as the new energies come in, the image I'm always shown is this image of a hot air balloon going up. And as it's going up, we have to let go of our ballast. And as we're letting go of our ballast, which is our emotional baggage, old things, it can be, sometimes it can go smoothly, but sometimes if it gets processed through our energy field, things happen in our world. And that's what it sounds like is happening to you.
Any advice on how to make it easier?
Well, the one thing I do recommend is any one of the meditations we have out online can help. The releasing, aligning. There's one out there that is untangling our energetic threads, which has to do with sometimes as we are going on in life, we have a whole lot of let's say legacy patterns that are ready to be let go of. And what we can do is we let go of those things and then bring in the new patterns. It helps things smooth out much quicker. And so I would say go out and take a look at one of them, any one of them, and use that, whichever one calls to you, that can help clear things out for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Paula, have you come back out and come back in yet? So you want to
Well, let's see. Is that working?
It is.
Yay.
You have audio. Wonderful.
Yeah, well, I don't have video. What I would say is it feels to me energetically like I'm getting ready to take a huge step. I just got the whole body resonation from that. A very big change, not a change energetically, but it's a good change. I just feel like something really exciting is coming my way, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, and it ties into what we talked about last time. Remember
Mhm.
we talked about, I'm trying to vaguely remember it was coming in. It's continuation of that.
Yeah.
And it is good, but it could have, and I think it's what we talked about before, just as others have experienced, because of the nature of the low self and the higher energies coming in, there could be a few bumps associated with it, but don't be dismayed by them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And thank you for helping me to remember that there will definitely be some bumps as I release some things that are ready to go. That road always gets a little bumpy, but good things on the horizon.
Yes, I think so. I think
Yeah.
so for you. And it's
Yeah.
some new things, and it's going to be different. And I'll be curious to find out what that different is for you.
Yeah, because right now I don't really have an idea of what different is,
Mm-hmm.
other than stepping forward more and releasing the hiding aspect that I've had for so very long.
Yeah, you have, and it seems to be there's part of you that's really comfortable with that.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so just be patient as you become less because you become more out there. I guess I'm going to put it
Yes.
that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, and while we were talking about, I want to bounce off of what Jessica talked about. What's happening is, and I'm seeing it coming in again. Every time I think it's leveled off, the energy and a part of it's coming into the earth and our soul group, and it's shifting the soul group, the frequency upwards. And for those who, let's say, have it, that are on the spiritual path, they're able to handle this a lot better. But people who aren't, all they know is that they can feel the energy coming in and it pushes their buttons. But even for those of us on the spiritual path, what can happen, especially because it's coming in really intensely, I've been really feeling it. And part of that has to do as things continue to unfold, it keeps shifting it up and up and up. So as that happens, if we can know that part of our low self and our subconscious are holding on to something, that can, that if we're aware of that, we can bless it and let it go, and we can avoid some of the bumps in the road, so to speak. But I mean, it happens to everyone. And as I mentioned, I had it happen to us between the furnace and the mower and the oven and just stuff happening. I just said, okay, bless it. It's the old stuff falling away and the new stuff coming in. So. Pat, do you have anything to share or anything to ask, or both?
Maybe both. I want to just welcome Emilie to our group. Hi there, cutie.
Hello there, darling friend.
We just recently met,
I
and
heard.
yeah, so I'm just tickled that she's here.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank
Emilie.
you.
And
Thank
I can relate to what Paula said. I feel like I'm right on the, I don't know if cusp is the right word.
That's the word that came to mind.
Okay. And but all these little annoying things that start out small and get bigger that are happening to all of us is just like, oh my gosh, stop already. When is it going to change, and we can be who we really know in our inner selves that we are, and that we were, and that we came here to be. I don't want it to go faster so that we can't handle it, but it's like, come on, most of us have waited our whole lives for this to happen. And so there's that. I guess that's enough for right now. I'll let you talk.
I don't have much to say other than I can absolutely echo what you're saying, and I know lots of other people who you may or may not know who are having these same kind of things coming up, and it's because we are raising upward, and this stuff has to go to do it. Now, ideally, it just falls away and we never see it again. But oftentimes, again, and I'm a little bit of a broken record on this, but I just want to just really emphasize it, that if part of our belief system or our subconscious holds on to it, and the subconscious's role is to maintain the status quo, that's what it does. When it tries to hold on to things, it still gets released, but then it gets processed through our energy field. So then we have the energies associated with it. If it's an old past life event, it can be the emotions. Sometimes it's sorrow, anger, whatever it happens to be. But all we have to know is that's being released. Bless it, send it on its way, because truly the reason why it's being released is because we are raising upwards and upwards. And that's what I have to remind myself of as well when I have to replace, the fuel pump on the truck, or, that sort of thing. It's like, okay, this is good. It's just on its way out, and we're just going to flow with it. But we have some new energies coming in, and I'm seeing them part of the soul group. And I know it's reversed for you. I see two very bright ones and one dimmer one, and I'm not entirely sure what it's about yet. I just saw it before we came on. It was just shown to me earlier, and it has to do, I'm not sure, with concurrent events coming up for the world and for us here in the United States and say North America, or if it's three different ones that are coming up for us to choose. I'm not entirely sure. It was just shown. So anyone that has any insights, please jump in. But this, and I agree with you, Pat. I want to say one more thing. I one time asked for things to go quicker, because I don't know anyone that's on the spiritual path who doesn't want things to go faster. But what we don't realize is that there's so much more happening than we're aware of. And I insisted one time, and my guide said, fine, you can have it faster. And then after I had faster, I realized that I said, let's stick with your plan, because things got to be really chaotic. And I said, okay, let's go back to just normal fast. And so I agree with you, Pat. Let's just allow things to go at their normal pace, bless them as things get released, and wonderful things are coming in. And that's what's the beautiful part of this.
And one other question I have, because we've had some discussion, especially Lisa and I, about the way other people, outside of spiritual people, they're just acting out, I want to say. And it's really difficult. Sometimes they catch you off guard, and they're saying or doing something, and you can't even, it's so fast that you can't even stop it, so I'm wondering if there is, if and when we see these things, or we're out and about, say shopping in Costco or whatever, what would you suggest, or we're dealing with craziness on the phone with somebody, what's your suggestion for us as a group to how to handle that, and what to say, and how to not get sucked into the negativity or their mental blah,
Well, it can be really challenging. And what I recommend is using and we have it at the end of every, just for Emilie and Jessica, at the end of every one of our meditations, we have that grounding, connecting exercise. That helps take anything that comes into our field and brings it into Mother Earth and transmutes it. Put the indigo blue on the outside of your bubble. That's the spiritual armor of light that helps block, especially ACA cords. These are energetic cords that people send from their solar plexus, their second chakra, and their first chakra. Those are the animal level energy chakras. And a lot of people a good percentage of communication that we have with other people come from that level. And what's happening is, because the energies are intense and coming in, and it's ungrounding them, your characterization of it's good. They're acting out. It's pushing their buttons in a big way. They're having a very, what's the word? I say emotional response, but there's an actual word for it. It's escaping me right now. But when people have a very, I won't say volatile, but they're very.
I'm hearing visceral.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly the word I was trying to think of. That is the word. Thank you. And the visceral reaction to it. And they're going to act out, and they're going to project onto other people, especially people of light, because that's the very thing pushing their buttons. It can be directed at us. It's not really directed at us. It's directed at their reaction to light. They're not ready for it. So all you can do is you can put the indigo blue, bless them, and try not to engage with them, because sometimes it's going to be hard to have any interaction with them that doesn't constitute the lower emotions with them. That's just where they are right now. Just bless them and just ask for the highest good for them. You can send them white light, put them in a shaft of light that can help ground them as well. But a lot of times we just have to let it be, and we use our indigo shield and our bubble of light. Did I answer your question, Pat?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing what Marci has to say now too.
Yes, Marci, do you have anything to share in sunny Hawaii as well?
Well, I'm not in sunny Hawaii.
That's right, I could just
I'm
forgot.
I'm in Washington right now. I just did California for a week or so, and now I'm at my daughter's in Washington. So I'm getting closer to Montana. I think it's coming.
Well, we'll see you when you get here then.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been interesting because I've been on the island for not quite 2 years, but pretty much immersed in nature, and now I'm in the world. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm getting to use all the little, I don't know, whatever tools and tips from all this last 2 years or whatever. I'm getting to apply them. So
it's got to be kind of intense for you, hasn't it?
Well, it was 7 airplane rides to get to where I am now.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, because it's little towns, that kind of thing. So it's been interesting. I've been really blessed the whole time. That part of it has been amazing. And I can see it's kind of like I don't want to say testing ground, but that's kind of what's going on, is like, how much have you really embodied?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's kind of being shown. And so far, so good. I think on the last call, you said something about coming to kind of like not a fork in the road, but, choice kind of looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a sense that might be something that my daughter and I were talking about today, when we were talking about whether to build something on the land in Hawaii or not. And I wasn't able to really commit to doing that. And from talking to her and kind of connecting, with the angelic beings and that, it felt like, yes, that was the thing to do. But I'll just put it out there too, because I know on another deeper level, there is nothing to do. And so I want to make sure that I'm not sidetracking myself.
Well, I think what I'm seeing with you, and it's the same thing I sensed when we were on the phone, is that your intuition is connecting with some incoming energies, and I think you just give it some time, and you'll know more, and you'll know more of what you want to do or what your sense of things are. I think it's a little too. I mean, it's great to talk about it, but I think at this point you want to give yourself a little more time, and you have that time because you're on this trip. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad that you say that, because when I get that that little bit of doubt or hesitation, I don't know if that's an old pattern or if it's actually the intuition.
Well, it's a little bit of an old pattern, but it's also a very significant amount of intuition with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think overall you're being prudent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Jeff.
welcome. Well, if we ever come to Hawaii, we're going to have to make sure we make it to Molokai so we can come visit you.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. That's why I'm coming to Montana. So
Wow. Look forward
yeah,
to seeing you. And then, of course, everyone here will love to see you. So it'll be wonderful.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. Blessings. All right. And we have someone else on the phone here well, it's on the phone. I don't have a name. It's 360s and the last four are 8833. Want to go ahead and jump in? I don't know who that is. That's all right. You can just listen in if you don't want to jump in. That's just absolutely fine. All right. I don't have a lot more to
Can you hear me?
Oh, go ahead.
Yes. This is Matthew calling from Washington. It was muted on the cell phone. My apologies. I had to push *6, I guess, to unmute.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Matthew. So how are things going in your world?
Yeah. I can kind of echo what others had mentioned on the Zoom call, but yeah, it's been kind of busy and crazy the last couple of days. Kind of like a perfect storm. I was just helping some friends yesterday, but no, for me, I just finished my finals week for my third term with my classes, so that just came to an end. So it's been stressful on my end, just trying to get term papers and final assignments done. But yeah, so today was the last day of the class. So I got the last 2 assignments shipped off, and just in time to make your Zoom call for today. So excited to be here.
I'm glad you're here. So how do you feel it went? How do you feel like everything, you finished out your classes?
Yeah, the classes are going well. Portland, the 2 weeks on site went okay. It was group processes, and I was just reflecting on some of the challenges that for those that might not be aware, it's the master's program in process-oriented psychology and social and community psychology and conflict resolution. And so this last go around, there was a lot of conflict that our group got to try to work through, but it wasn't very gentle, I would say. And so as I was leaving Portland, I stopped at New Renaissance, the bookstore, and just happened to see at the checkout counter there was a book on Ho'oponopono, the ancient Hawaiian approach to conflict resolution. I'm like, and so as a sign, I picked it up and bought it, and it's such a gentler approach than what we're learning for the group process and process work. So it was nice to kind of balance the two out.
It's wonderful too, and it really works very well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And so I'm kind of just using that for my life right now. Just there's a lot of conflict and a lot of stuff and old patterns that are coming up, especially this last week. And so just really trying to take some deep breaths and do some just allowing and flowing. And I feel like I'm in a really good place.
Well, that's wonderful. And I can confirm it was really, how would you say the word pointed, but very speary energy, as in spears kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness gracious, you're quite I really admire you for being, for processing through it, because that was, from what I can sense of it, was pretty intense.
Yes, it was. I ended up coming down with a migraine headache afterwards in Portland, because it was just so much energies, and yeah. So learned a lot.
Yes.
And how I might decide to process my own once I graduate and do group processes, how it would be different. But yeah, learning a lot. I feel like I'm it's right now next to the water, listening to the sound of the water, and the sun is out, so I just feel like moving into a good space.
Yeah. How much further do you have to go? How much is left? How many semesters?
One more year. So
okay.
Yep. So we just finished the first year, and we start the second year. We only have a week off for summer break, and we're right back into it. So.
Well, I know you do well, and keep us updated on this. I find this very fascinating, all that you're doing.
Yes, that's right. And the other update on the neurobiofeedback,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting closer on that. And so I ended up returning the one unit that I had, and I think I'm going to go with a different unit. So next time I'm out there in Montana and see everyone, if people want to experience the neurobiofeedback, I really hope I'll have a machine up and running that can sort of sense the brainwaves for the activities that as we're going through different meditations and stuff, if people are interested.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. Look forward to it.
Yeah.
All
Those are
right.
my updates.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here and you made it. Wonderful.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, at this point, I think everyone's had a chance to speak. Does anyone have anything more to share? And I'll go around. I'll start with Lisa. Do you have anything more? And we can always talk offline as well.
I would just say it's just been a weird last 3 months. This is how long this loan has been taking, not
Mhm.
45 days, but 90. And I feel like I haven't been able to go, I feel disconnected a little bit from where I was before I started this process, where I can't really dive deeply into my spiritual exploration, let's say,
Mhm.
because I've had to stay so focused and by my phone constantly and on hold constantly. So I feel like, I don't know, it's been tough because I feel like the other stuff I was just really flowing and things were opening and moving and felt this deep connection to my own soul and the presence of that. And I feel like I've just had to be in 3D world too long and I don't enjoy it. So
Yeah. And I can agree with you. And I can see that aspect of it is really, it's a detractor for certain. What I got as you were talking, and I was shown an image, is that one of the things, I don't know if you're aware of it, but the universe is using this event because you had to stay kind of connected at the earthly level, is I'm seeing like the ice breakup where up in the Arctic, where the ice starts melting and breaking up, and in Alaska it happens. And it's breaking up some old patterns so some new ones can come in when this is through. I didn't even know that until you were started talking. And so that's one of the side effects that's happening of this. It's a positive one, but of course, the detractor portion of it, having it, take so long, I can completely understand.
yeah, it definitely feels like it's just a huge distraction, you know, on some.
Yeah, but it's detaching you from, it looks like, from some old patterns that you may not be aware, or maybe you are aware of. I think you might be aware of them. And as you're moving in, I think you're going to have, it looks like some sort of movements is going to be within the week or so. I'm not sure what that is, but it looks like something's coming up. But as it does, as you're moving into the new, it's going to allow you to disconnect more, a lot of non-conscious stuff. So it may not be things you're consciously aware of, but it's going to allow you to move more smoothly after this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully things will be done at the end of next week. I thought it would be this week.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, they told me that like every week. Oh, we'll be done. Oh, we'll be done this week. Oh, yeah. So I can say I've had a lot of dreams, a lot of just multiple dreams every night. So I know a lot of stuff is going on those levels, but in the everyday, because before I was having all this energy coming in and all these insights and all this stuff happening, and it's all kind of like it got shut off because when I was in that space, I wouldn't have been able to be so focused and constantly having to ask questions and do all this stuff that you have to use more of your mind for, and just be so focused because it seems like people just aren't doing their jobs and it's almost like they don't care. I don't know. They're very ungrounded. People are emotionally volatile. I mean, it's a Wild West show going on. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and it's all what's happening right now. And I'd like to tell you that it's going to reduce, but it's not. It's going to
Oh, I
become
know.
more intense. You already know that. Okay, you already know that. All right.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's going to step up some more. It's coming. And you know, I feel for those who don't have a spiritual grounding because they have no way of processing this stuff, and all they do is act out. All you got to do is watch the evening news to find out what happens.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my goodness gracious, that's people reaction who they're getting ungrounded. They're getting all these higher connections being made, and they don't know what to do with it. Their low self just acts out. As Paula said, thank you for that word, visceral. That's the word. Visceral reactions are what are happening. And all we can do is just bless it and just know this too shall pass, you know. But thank you, and we can talk some more. I might send you an email later. I think some things might come in on for you.
Okay. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah. Pat, do you have anything more to share?
No, I don't think so. I think just everybody has really brought in some good information in their sharings. And I think we're all seeing the same craziness and feeling, yeah, even myself, I think it was yesterday, I was off the wall in my emotions. I mean, I would start crying. It was just bizarre.
Well, you're
So,
releasing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it is. And I'm seeing so much of this. And on myself, it's happening up. I have this stuff come up, and I know I can even spy, even recently, I know which life it was. And I'm not going to talk about it because it wasn't a pleasant life. It doesn't matter. But it's being released, and that's fine. But the process of going through that isn't necessarily enjoyable, as we've all been sharing. I mean, everyone's having their own versions of things. So, but one thing I'm getting that's really important is that once a month we get together, and of course we all get together at other times too, but I'm feeling all the energies coming together, and it's allowing us to connect and to release and to even let more things go, both consciously and non-consciously. So we all are blessed by each other just being on this Zoom call here. So I'm just thankful and just for all of you for being here. So blessings and thank you. Emilie, do you have anything more to share?
I do.
All right.
So I'm new to Shays Holistics, and I found you via Pat. Anyway,
yeah.
And Pat, every time I go to Montana, I have some spiritual awakening, insight, some major event or something happening. And so my mother-in-law made her transition on the 4th of July, the eve of the 4th of July. And it's interesting because when I was visiting family in Montana, I have that sense because I wanted the family to go visit her in Victoria, Canada, one last time. And that was the guidance that I was getting into my heart, that she is getting ready to go. And I felt like it would have been nice for everyone to see her one last time. She was a beautiful, lovely lady, but very, very difficult to understand. But yet she lived to be 89. And so yeah, so I felt the guidance up there that she was going to go. And I came back home on the 28th, and then, you know, I heard that she made her transition. And I wasn't sure what to expect, but she did show up down here.
She
Um,
did.
Yeah, she did.
Hmm.
She did. She always knew that I was very spiritual and intuitive. And she showed up and I could feel her presence around me. And then I asked her, Chloe, what can I do for you? I know you're here. I can't see you. You can see me, but I am aware of your energy. So what can I help you out with? And she said, well, if at all possible, can you buy some chimes and put them in your beautiful garden? I said, yeah, sure. So I found myself going to a little place downtown in the village where I live, and I found the chimes. And of course, I was trying to figure out the one she wanted. You know, there are so many to choose from, but I ended up with the right one, Polaris. And I feel like with her Scandinavian and Canadian background that was the right one for her. Sure enough, she was happy about that. And then she said, oh, and I'm really sorry for having been so challenging to you and the whole family. So can you get hold of some cedar and sage and sweetgrass and do some smudging purification for me before I go in front of the big kahunas and get my review of my lifetime on Earth. And I said, oh yeah, sure. So I did the smudging in my home and garden and so on. And then she was still here. And I said, oh, is there something else? And she said, oh yeah, this is asking for a lot, but is it possible for you to plant some red roses in your garden? And I said, oh, I don't have anything so flashy. The roses are all white or pink, very soft colors. But yeah, sure, I think I can find a spot for the red roses. I have yet to go to Armstrong Nursery to get the rose bush for her, but I did mention it to my daughter, and she just listened. And of course, I'm going to get the red roses for her and put them in my garden, as I have with other family members and her friends who have made, like their transition, and they asked for something like this. And so that went on, and which leads me to the question, because someone told me that that after you release your bag of flesh, your physicality, and you're just a beam of light, that you go through a process of, I've heard different dates here, and I would like for you to clarify, what it is, because I've heard that is either 3 days or 7 days. So I just recently had some friends say, oh no, creation is 7 days. Emilie, she's going through this process that's going to take 7 days. And then I don't know where I picked up that it was 3 days, just like our beloved master Jesus underwent 3 days, and then he resurrected his physical body, and so on. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that was the 4th of July. Today is only the 8th. So my mother-in-law, Chloe, is still, down here visiting, revisiting some family members and her friends before she finally, moves on. So is that right? Is that the process after we die? 3 days, 7 days, or is something else?
Well, it can be, it's not necessarily prescribed. They typically within a 3-day period, because oftentimes things are coinciding to the funeral, because people are going to come here and they're going to be there, and it's for a closure for them as well as for the people who are here. She has a lot of what she did initially. She had a chance. One of the things she did get a chance to see very, I'm going to say vicariously, very much she got to experience it, is how her behavior affected others. That's one of the reasons you got the apology. She's also done a lot of review. She's still got some things she's working on in there. So you could say within the first few days, she's had a lot of things happen. She's had a lot of review. Has she had her funeral yet? It doesn't feel like it.
No.
It doesn't feel like it to me. Like it has not. Once that happens,
Uh-huh.
then they're gonna finish off. She's gonna be given the opportunity, and different people call it different things. So I'm gonna use this term loosely. She's gonna have a chance to go into the back. They say to source, but it's just a chance. It's like this realm where people go and rest afterwards. If they've had somewhat of a tumultuous life or the intensity, they have a chance to rest. And I'm not sure what all that's about, but I've read about it elsewhere, and I can see that she's going to have the chance. She may or may not avail herself to it. Thereafter, after all this is all done, wrapped up, the funeral's over and things, she'll still be visiting people for a while. She's going to be moving on into some, I'm going to call it training, learning in between lives to prepare her for whatever's next that she chooses to do, just so you know. So that's the process she's in right now. And there's some choices she has. She hasn't made them all up there yet. So I can't tell you what she's going to do, because there's some interactions she's having with some people here that she's visiting on Earth. And how she interacts at that level energetically is going to determine what she's going to do, has some effect on what she's going to do next. If anyone else wants to jump in, please do, if you've got anything to share.
I just wanted to add that the Buddhists believe it's 40 days. And what I've seen that a lot of times it's much longer, because they're going to different places, they're visiting people, they're finishing things up. They're also going through the Bardo process. So, which is where it's part of the life review. You're reviewing a lot of the things so it could be up to 40 days.
And
Oh, wow.
I've even seen
Thank
people
you.
longer. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't know. Anyway, I just assumed it was, 3 days from when I was much younger. Someone told me that, and I just, accepted it. Well, 40 days, well, that's a long time, isn't it? And so what can you do? Atone yourself from the invisible realm, meaning from your invisible, from the light. I want to say from the light source.
They do a lot from that level, yes. And let me share something that we had a healer here, and when he left, he did so much work with people afterward, and he's still working with people years later. Some people he's still helping them from the other side. He was a very spiritual man. His name was Dr. McKimmey, and he did lots and lots of work. So she's going to continue doing some work, but a lot of the initial stuff is going to be afterward. Some different people have different experiences, as what Lisa said. So, the 40 days, I've even seen longer, I've seen shorter. It just depends on the individual and the process they're in. So And just let yourself be guided. She's going to continue visiting you, and as she does, I think as your subsequent conversations after this, see what she has to say and ask her. She'll tell you.
Yes, like when I was talking to my daughter over the phone and mentioned her name, I just mentioned her name and it's like, whoa, there she is. It's like, okay, turn down the volume because my ear hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But so all I know is that it was a very tumultuous, lifetime. And yeah, there's one family member. Well, she hurt all of us because I feel like she wasn't in the right place. It took me a long time to raise my vibration so that I wouldn't be reacting to every unkindness towards me and the children, the husband, the rest of the family. And I'm glad that I did that work because I often wondered how she would behave towards me or, vice versa after she died. And come to find out, I did the work and I don't have, I only have unconditional love and kindness and beauty and love towards her. Wow. And I think, wow, okay. I wouldn't have been able to do that, 20, 30 years ago.
Well, it's good that you've done this, and just let some more time pass and some more interactions with her. She has more to say to you. And she's had a real chance to, because she had a vicarious experience. And what I mean by that is she got to experience what it was like when she dished it out, and she also had a chance to experience what it was like already. When she left, she's had a chance to see what it was like on the receiving end. So she's full. That's why she's come back and why she apologized. And this is part of the process that we have. And choosing love as a response by you is the right response. Letting it go, releasing it, blessing it. And know that it was, she was a mirror unto you to teach and provide you lessons that you needed to do. And you were that for her as well as everyone else. So thank you for sharing, Emilie. I'm going to move on to Jessica here. Is that okay? We just lost you.
Oh yeah. And I just, in closing, I want to say that the timing when I met Pat while I was in Montana and when I came home and found you was absolutely perfect because I had already started watching the music videos and listening to the various meditations and exercises, especially the chakra shower. And so I just childlike, I just went in there and, checked everything out. And I loved everything, especially all is well, all is well, all is well. And every little cell in my body is happy and well. So, I was doing all of that. And that really helped me. And then today, 2 hours before this meeting, I did the chakra showers awake because the first time I did it, I fell asleep and I really wasn't paying attention. But today I did pay attention. And at the end of it, I just wanted to go to sleep. I just wanted to go to sleep and rest and go to sleep. And I did do that. So your videos, your music videos, your everything that you have on your website has been so very helpful to me on so many levels. And I thank you because it's also helping this new energy coming in from within as to where I need to go next and what I need to do. So I thank you, because I don't know of any other tools or places that has all that you offer all of us right now. And especially personally, that you can just tap the right sources and then that are right for you, and just go at your own speed. Everyone is, in a hurry to go home and do it all over again. I'm very slow by nature, and I like to take my time and process slowly and gently and lovingly. So thank you so much for your work.
You're welcome. And just we'll have this will be posted out there too later, so you can watch it again. And the energy is what's why you felt like you had to go to sleep. So we say it's getting zonked or zapped sometimes because it comes in and we're ready for it. So, well, just thank you for listening, and just we're glad that it's a blessing to you. And we'll see you next month as well. And blessings and light to you. And let me get on to Jessica. Do you have anything left to share as well?
Well, I have to agree with Pat. I've had a lot of grief coming up lately, and just crying at the drop of a hat over whatever. So I thought that was interesting, but it's nice to hear that other people are having the same stuff go on.
It's as counterintuitive as it might seem. We've all talked about it. The fact that it's coming up is a good thing. It means you're releasing it. I mean, it'd be great if it just fell away. And a lot of stuff with you, by the way, that you don't even know about. It's just gone. And that's a good thing. But there are the stuff that gets processed through. Yeah, it can be emotional, and you're blessing it. And this is good. This intensity is going to continue for a while. And I do recommend. My thought is on these things when on any of these meditations, anything out on the website or anywhere that you go, let your intuition guide you. Say, "Ooh, that's what I want to listen to." And sometimes the title is, I look at the title like, "Gosh, I don't know if I want to listen to that." And then I say, "Well, I'm sensing I should." And then when we do that, our intuition knows. So you're doing great.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Paula, do you have anything more to share?
No, just a big thank you, because it always amazes me how when we start out, we might not have anything to say, but yet when we finish, we've all put it into such a beautiful, cohesive package that we've all had an energetic boost from. So I'm always thankful for each of you for showing up.
Well, thank you. Yes, and you're right. It does seem like it just naturally unfolds and dovetails together. And all of the energy that's coming from everybody here, because we're all channels of energy for each other. So truly, it is a blessing for all of us. And I always feel better afterward. When we're all done, it's like, wow, I am so glad we did this. Even though, like today, I didn't have a lot to share other than I saw those 3 different paths for the soul group, and I'm still not sure what they are, but we'll know in time. So thank you so much, Paula. And I'm going to move on to Marci next. I'm looking down at the screen here, so I'm going to try to go back to the camera. Anything else, Marci?
Am I muted?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. I would ask you, I mean, lots of stuff's releasing while we're on the call, obviously. But I would ask you one quick question. So many times I have the urge to run energy, not the grounding way that we do, like in all the meditations, but to bring it up from the center and bring it up out of the crown and up and around like a torus. What am I doing when I'm doing that?
Well, I'm going to give you the short answer. Okay.
Okay.
It's your inner self, your inner knowing of your connection with the divine and the universe. And
Uh-huh.
when we get that expanded and it's really flowing and everything's going, you have the Taurus. The Taurus happens.
Okay.
That's just your acknowledgement. I guess you could say kind of a connection in oneness with creation. And there's probably other facets to it I'm not aware of. And
Okay.
but if that's
Okay,
what
'cause
you're doing that, yes.
that's what it feels like. It's just that it's so opposite of what we're always taught and practicing.
Mhm.
And I'm like always in resistance to doing it that other way. But I want to bring it up and bring it out through my crown. And it's just like, okay,
It's
that's how
okay.
it feels. I'm just gonna do it.
Just do it. Like Nike, just do
Okay.
it.
Okay. Good. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Blessings. Matt, do you have anything more to share? You're living an exciting life there.
Yes. Are you guys able to hear me okay? Am I muted?
Yes, you're fine. I can hear you.
Oh, great. Ah, perfect. Yeah, it's exciting times. Just appreciate everybody's sharings. And I think the other thing I might just mention is I've been thinking about, as far as returning back to work, there's been some opportunities to do some temporary work up in Alaska. And then I just bumped into an old colleague from the tribe who's offered a position to do mental health work out with the tribe. And so I haven't even had a chance to really think about all of this stuff because I've been caught up in finals. But yeah, no, I definitely remember our conversation last time, and that the universe, the angels, the guides definitely just want me to move in a direction.
Yes.
And so it's just kind of just trusting whatever that direction might be is the most highest and greatest for all.
It is, and you're doing it. And the one thing I want to affirm, and this is from your high self, he wants you to know this. Remember we talked about some time ago, it came through, that all this work you're doing from all these different modalities, all these different approaches, I'm going to call them that, you are being guided to create I'm going to call it an integrated modality. I think that's going to come, and I don't know how that's going to look or what you're going to do with it, but that looks like you're definitely in the process of bringing all that in. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons they want you to be engaged, and obviously you're going to follow your intuition to do that, but you're doing it. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, good. That's so. The reassurance is I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, that's from your high self. He's the one that wants you to know that.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right. Well, listen, thank you all for being here. And just, I cannot tell you how heartfelt this is, what a blessing it is to be with each of you every month. And then, of course, for some of you in between times. But when we come together like this, it truly does bring a chance to bring, it's overused, that synergy, that bringing it all together. It really does. Each of us becomes a channel to the other to bring through the energies that we all need. And then things afterward can start unfolding. And sometimes we don't even know why. And that's just because we all came together and did this. So blessings and thanks to all of you. And until next time, blessings, light, and love. And I'll have this posted, I hope, tonight.
Thank you, Jeff. Blessings to you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Love you, everybody.
Thank you, Deborah.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Love
Bye.
you.